back to Women's Biz Tribe Success Summit. Super excited to have you with us as we progress along to the final ends of our program over the next couple of hours. But it's just been so great to have so many people from around the world engaging in our chats, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all over the place. It's just been fantastic to hear your comments, to get that feedback that you're just really loving the raw and authentic sharing from these amazing women from around the globe. And I have another one to introduce you to now. Her name is Margaret Foley. And Marg is a gifted storyteller and speaks on being given up for adoption as a baby, experiences of childhood abuse, 2 marriages and 2 divorces, raising kids with a complex mental health needs, and juggling a high-profile career as a senior vice president in a global software business. Marg then started Queen of My Own Universe after overcoming her own experience of burnout, including depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, and other stress-related illnesses. Through her recovery, she decided she wanted to leave the corporate world behind and devote her life to helping other women to really know who they are and to step into their power and to live a life that they actually really love. What a brilliant idea. Marg is now on a mission to take the woo-woo out of spirituality and mindfulness and make it relatable, accessible, and affordable to every woman. So welcome to our summit, Marg.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. And thank you for creating this amazing platform of all these incredible women that have been speaking over these couple of days. I'm so delighted to be here.
Oh, you are most welcome, and we are thrilled that you have come to share with us today. And I'm going to hand it right over to you because I know you've got lots of pearls of wisdom to share along with your own journey.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And it is truly an honor to be here and go through this presentation with you. And I hope you take something away from it. My perspective might be a little different to what some of the other ladies have been, which I guess is what we're all here to learn about. So as Annie said, I'm the founder and CEO of Queen of My Own Universe, which is a business that I founded to be a women's empowerment community. So I'm all about, one-on-one and group coaching for women. I run women's circles and all sorts of different events to really help women create space, hold space, and discover who they are. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm still on that journey. And as Annie mentioned, my own experience of burnout. So I'm a burnout survivor, actually 3 hospitalizations, which I'm going to talk about a little later on as well. I'm super passionate about helping people live a life that they love. That's really what I'm here for. And helping to make what was once upon a time a little woo-woo and a little out there. How do we make that really mainstream and relatable and accessible to women of all ages? I was recently a finalist in the Mompreneur Awards in the category of online communities for the work that we're doing with Queen of My Own Universe online. It's so exciting, a little bit like what Annie's got here with all of these women that have come together for the Success Summit. I was on a call the other day with one of my clients who's in Argentina, and I was like, wow, we really are taking this movement global. I've recently been a co-author in a fabulous book called Goodbye Busy, Hello Happy, where I actually talk about my journey to overcoming my quest for perfection. And I host a fabulous podcast called Living the Queen Life. But that's enough about me. What we're here to talk about today is success and what it means to me. So when I thought about this topic of success, I thought, right, what are you going to talk about, Margaret? And I thought, let's go and talk about what the definition of success is, because it's a little different for everybody. And my journey had been about redefining what success means to me. So I went to the internet and I said, radio, internet, definition of success. And here's what I came up with. And so Merriam-Webster, it's got a definition. And what I've highlighted a few key words in here is that success, one definition of that is the attainment of wealth, favour, or eminence. And then the Collins English Dictionary had some similar definition there as well. And it's the achievement of something you've been trying to do. It speaks about words like victory and triumph, or the achievement of a high position. So when I read these definitions in these dictionaries of what success is, it came as no surprise to me at all that we are raised with a fairly narrow view of what the hallmarks of success actually are. So if I wanted to redefine success, what would that be? So if I was to write the dictionary according to Margaret, what would my own definition of success be in here? So I thought, let's go and take a look at what success is meant to look like for us. So I mapped out a little chart about what the steps are that we would normally go through in our life. So this is how it was supposed to go. And this was my own story, but I know for so many people, similar age, I'm 50, and I know for all of my family, my friends, and lots of other people. And even today, this is kind of still the journey that we're supposed to go on. So we go to school, and then we go to university and we get a degree. And then we leave university with our degree and we go and get ourselves a good job. We might end up married or in a relationship if that's something that we choose to do. But again, society is always asking us, when are you getting married? Why are you still single? And then we're supposed to go on and we're supposed to have kids and raise a family and have this fabulous happy marriage, and put photos on Instagram of this amazing life that we're living with these incredible kids who are also succeeding as well. And then we should go and get promoted at work again, and then get buy a house, have a car, and lots of money, go on holidays. And we go into this rinse and repeat cycle. The more you get promoted, the more money you should earn, the nicer your cars get, the more cars you have, the bigger or the nicer your house gets, and the more lovely your holidays get. And we consistently see this reinforced for us. And we're encouraged to reinforce our own narrative of success. What do we post on social media? There's not many people will post their real boring day-to-day life on social media, on Instagram. We're showing everybody how successful we are by having these things, which if we go back to our definitions of achieving wealth, having victory, having a position, our position is maybe our job, our wealth allows us to have these nice things. So this is kind of how it's supposed, and we're supposed to just rinse and repeat that last bit of have a job, have a car, go on a holiday. We rinse and repeat that until we retire, and then hopefully we're retiring with lots and lots of money in our superannuation, so we can continue to live a fabulous, successful retirement. And we do that until we end our lives. So that was what was mapped out for me. And if I achieved all of those things, I was going to be successful in my life. That wasn't quite how it went though. So this is my life story on screen here. I went to school. I actually did go to university because that was what I was told I had to do. My parents started contributing to a university scholarship fund for me while I was still in primary school. So it was never, a conversation that I wasn't going to go to university. And I went to university thinking I'm going to be a high school English teacher because I loved words and communication. I loved literature. And as I was studying, I'm like, I still love all of that, but I realized I actually didn't like children very much, and especially not teenagers. And I'd been really horrible to my teachers as I was growing up. So I decided, you know what, you actually don't want to be a teacher. So I quit uni. I dropped out of uni. I had no idea what I wanted to do. My family was so disappointed in me that, my father pretty much didn't speak to me for almost a year afterwards because I had let the family down because I was not doing what I was supposed to do. I did go and get a job. It's a pretty entry-level job. You know what? I made cups of tea and I answered the phone and I typed stuff. I got married. Did that. I had kids. I have two fabulous children. They're older teenagers now. There's a little question mark there on the happy marriage because there was times when it wasn't that picture postcard, mum, dad, 2.4 kids, white picket fence. I kept getting promoted at work because I kept striving to do more and be more. But then I got divorced, and that wasn't on the success plan first, that we looked at before. But hey, that's okay. I got promoted at work again, and then I got married again. So I'm back in the success column because it's like, well, being in a relationship and or being married is something that society views as a hallmark of success. If you are choosing to be single, sometimes there's a bit like, oh, what's wrong with you? More promotions at work, another divorce. Let's just go for two on that. But when I came out of that second divorce, I was like, right, okay, so I'm failing at relationships instead of being successful at that. So how about I throw myself into something that I can be successful at that defines or that meets that definition of success, particularly around money and position and power. So I moved on to having high-level senior executive roles in businesses. I had a nice home. I bought my own home as a single woman. I bought my own home. And I had a nice car, and I was earning a lot of money. I have a new relationship, and that's lovely. And we were just kind of rinsing, repeating: get another job, get a bit more of a promotion, earn some more money, and so we would go. And I did that for a period of time, and I was meeting success. As far as I was concerned, I had never been more successful in my life. I had everything I thought I had ever wanted. But here's what happened: I turned out to be less happy and less well than I'd ever been in my entire life. So it used to mean to me happy and healthy children. And we all want that for our children. And it also meant for me that my children were successful. So I could brag about my kids, because that was another measure of my success then as a mother, was to have these children who were achieving. Success meant career opportunities. I was getting them in spades. Achievement of goals. I used to describe myself as a high performing, overachieving perfectionist control freak. Like if I could have gotten a t-shirt with that on it, I would have worn the t-shirt proudly. I thought success meant money and lots of it. And I thought it meant then using that money to buy possessions and having things and having a wardrobe full of beautiful clothes and jewelry and just being able to buy whatever I wanted to buy. I also thought that success meant receiving recognition and approval from others. And this was so critical to me. Turns out that was actually just my ego talking. And it was a quest that I thought, if people are approving of me or I'm receiving love from others, then I'm successful. But I thought those two went hand in hand. I thought, I cannot be loved unless I am successful. I cannot be approved of unless I am successful. So they were woven in together. So this picture here, this is a selfie that I took because, we document our entire lives. I took this selfie on my first trip to hospital with burnout. I thought I was having a heart attack. I called in. I was home alone. I called an ambulance. They came, and I literally thought I was having a heart attack. I was in so much pain. I couldn't breathe. And so what I did, I took a selfie. I didn't bother taking a selfie for trip number 2 and trip number 3. Because I didn't even talk really much about them, because I was ashamed that I wasn't coping. Because successful people cope with whatever life throws at them. Successful people don't suffer with burnout. They don't suffer with depression and anxiety, and they don't wonder, who on earth am I? So as I started to recover from burnout, I started to ask myself some questions about, Margaret, you need to redefine what success looks like for you, or you're going to die. When I went to see my GP after I came out of hospital the third time, my blood pressure was 210 on 140. And what she said to me is, you are a heart attack waiting to happen. And I'm like, if I do not redefine success and redefine my life, then I'm going to die next time this happens. So I thought this to myself: what if I remove all of the labels of who I should be and who I'm supposed to be? What if I just one by one took them off? That I didn't define myself as a wife, a mother, a girlfriend, a worker, a boss, or whatever. I was just Margaret. What if I stopped striving to do more and have more? And I was just happy. I was just grateful that what I have is enough. And I don't have to keep on seeking more and more to prove my ongoing success. What if I abandoned my lifelong quest for perfection? This was the biggest one for me. What if I actually said, I do not need to be perfect in order to be successful. I do not need to be perfect in order to have love in my life and to be approved of. What if? What if I stopped measuring my success by everybody else's standards? What if I took those definitions that's there in the Collins English Dictionary and I said, you know what? That's not my measure of success anymore. Your definition is not my definition. What if I did all of that? Then what? Could I still be considered successful? So I did. I answered all of those questions for myself, and I came up with a new definition. And I said, instead, how about I make a choice about how I want to live and how I want to feel? And I make the achievement of that my measure of success, instead of wealth and possessions and positions and power. What if, when I talked about success, I spoke about the kind of person that I am, irrespective of the things that I had? Now, it's really interesting. If you go and ask somebody, if you even consider this for yourself right now as you listen to this, ask yourself, what does success mean to me? Most people, when asked this question or asked to contemplate it or write their own definition of success, they talk about being happy, being healthy, having love in their life, being surrounded by good people. So, humans, when asked for a definition of success, don't give you what the dictionary gives you. And I realized that I had been defined by that classic dictionary definition, and I was about to redefine it. So I said, okay, Margaret, what does success look like for you? Instead of possessions and money and power and titles, what is it? And this is what I came up with. Happiness, or it is for me, it's happiness. If we just go back to the previous slide for a moment, Annie, it's happiness. You know, I am successful and I show that through my happiness. I am successful because I have peace in my life. I am successful and I show that through having good health, through having love that is both giving and receiving love. My success is also measured by my sense of purpose, and that every single day I get to get up and I live out my purpose in life. Now, being successful doesn't mean not having wealth. We're just going to redefine that to having abundance and financial abundance. Because one of the things, you know, and I know it's important in these conversations that Annie and the ladies have been having over the last couple of days, is you can have it all. Success can mean having it all. But the important thing about redefining success is we make space for these things such as happiness and peace and love and health, because they don't feature in that dictionary definition. So when I boiled it all down, I thought that's really long-winded. So next time somebody says to me, Margaret, what is your definition of success? It is very simple. Success to me now is living a life that I love and empowering other women to do the same. It's kind of simple when you break it all down. So that was how I arrived at the point of saying success to me is just simply about living a life that I love. It can still come with the trappings of success. I love that phrase, the trappings of success, because they really can be a trap. I got trapped into believing that I had to have all of those things in order to be successful. And what was not talked about enough as I was growing up and the people that were modeling success for me is that success can be those things and that stuff. But more importantly, at the end of the day, you know, when I am on my deathbed and somebody says to me, Margaret, what was most important to you in your life? What were you most proud of in your life? I'm not going to talk about my shoe collection. And I'm not going to talk about my diamond earrings. I'm going to talk about that I lived a life that I loved and I empowered other people to do the same. And that's going to be my legacy and my definition of success. So I would encourage you to stop and reflect, write down, what is success for me? What kind of person do I want to be? And then see what you come up with and write your own definition of success that looks nothing like what you see in the dictionaries. So Annie, there we go. That's my redefinition of success.
Oh my goodness. That was amazing. Amazing. So clear too. And so accurate on so many of our journeys, right? That's right. You just start going through life and you just think, yes, I'll just do what I have been told. I'll do what seems to be expected of me. And let's hope those listening in don't have to have seriously 3 near-death experiences.
No, I don't want that. That's the whole thing. I don't want that for anybody.
No,
You know?
and that's what I love. You're wanting it for you to redefine so you can be happy and healthier. But oh my goodness, now it's like a burden. Listen up, people. Don't wait till burnout. Burnout's not fun. It's not as if you just sort of skid out for a little while. I mean, you're saying, if success in that version meant death, like that's pretty serious. You definitely need to redefine success, and you really need to be very intentional about those steps that you made. You had to not just remove a few things. You need to you have gone through a whole journey of unpacking what all those core ingredients are. So it's not just writing a new statement or writing a new definition. That's pretty amazing. And then I'm thinking too, Marg, that different of us will have different priorities, different weighting on all of those ingredients, right? Some will go, yeah, my health or wellness or family or purpose or leaving a legacy or finance. Like they're all going to be a different percentage, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's that's why it's such a personal thing, that looking at the core ingredients, I talk to people a lot about figuring out what your personal values are. We all look at, businesses have values and they'll put them on coffee mugs or mouse pads or something, and then often don't live them.
Yeah.
But what are your personal values? How will you show up for yourself in your life? And being clear about your personal values, I mean, being wealthy can be one of them, but let's redefine that wealth is not just about bank balance.
Yeah.
And, that you don't have to, I mean, for me, it ended up being this realization that, when I quit my job, and it's almost 12 months since I rang my then CEO, who I loved, and said, you know what, I'm resigning. I'm leaving. And hey, guess what? I'm going to go and start my own business called Queen of My Own Universe. And I'm going to go do all this woo-woo stuff and help people. And like everybody thought I'd lost my mind.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to quit your job and leave your partner and run away from your kids and live on a deserted island, to have a transformation in your life. But the key is to actually figure out what matters, that is more than just what we've been taught matters. This is why everybody, when you ask them, what's your what does success mean to you? They say happiness, health, people that I love.
Yeah.
And then you look at how they're going about their life and you go, okay, they're the things you love. That's the stuff that lights you up and makes you happy, and you define that as success. Now let's compare that to what you do with your life on a day-to-day basis. How much of your time do you spend doing that stuff that you says is actually success versus doing the stuff that we've been told that we have to do?
Exactly, which is overworking, doing crazy hours, not being then able to connect if you've had family, missing big occasions because you like the idea of it, but we make choices all day, every day on, in that area on I'd love to be fit and healthy, I'd love to run this race or do this or do that, but don't get around to the exercise or don't feed our bodies in the right way. The amount of people who go, oh, I've always wanted to do this or something. So I've trekked mountains and I've always wanted to go and do a thing. And I'm like, well, why don't you do it? So what are you waiting for? I suppose is we don't want to be waiting for the perfect time, because particularly if you're a crazy perfectionist like Marg was. I mean, oh my goodness, if you're proudly wearing the t-shirt, oh my gosh, just get it all right. And that perfect day is never, it's not going to happen, right? It's never going to come, because you'll always make excuses. You'll always go, oh, if I try a bit harder, if I work a bit harder, if I strive a bit harder, if everyone else would support me. And, when we do our little rants, like, why is no one helping me? I'm sure you've had those moments as well, Mark.
Just a few.
Just a few, then that's right. Whereas we don't want to do that. We actually want to, be reminded that this is actually a serious thing. Where, Women's Biz Tribe and those coming along to our summits and our events, we're all really busy women. We're all juggling so many things, whether it's family, hobbies, sports, businesses, side hustles, charities. I mean, like, we've all got 24 hours and we fill them however we want to, and there's no judgment on that, and there's no competition, but it's very much saying, is your recipe for what's actually in your day-to-day, day in, day out, actually matching? And I love those slides that you use. What's the idea, the dream versus the reality can be so different, but we don't put it that way. Like, you've put it really clearly. Whereas generally we go, oh yeah, because I want it and I like it and I think about it, you sort of somehow in your mind says, I'm doing it. But often we're not.
We get busy being busy, and we get caught up in the hype of our own narrative and the hype of what we're supposed to do with our lives. And when you're there in the middle of living that expected success, and you're getting all of this feedback, and our whole, our brain, our mind is like this biofeedback system that says, come at me with all of your praise. And your inner child is going, oh, they love me. I've got all this praise and acceptance happening. And so you keep craving it, right? And then your ego, which is not always a dirty word, your ego when it starts to take over and it starts to crave even more of that, then you get caught in this negative spiral of, well, the harder I work, the more praise I get, the better I feel. The harder I
Yeah.
work, the more money I earn, the more stuff I can buy, and the more people think my life is amazing. My friends used to come up to me, and I bought into all of that. I used to have my friends, and so many people would say to me, "Oh my God, you're so inspiring. You know, I'm a single mom. I'm holding down this job. I'm traveling all the time. I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this." And they would be like, "Oh my God, you're so inspiring." And I'd be like, and for a while, like I had Wonder Woman as like my avatar on my Facebook profile, my LinkedIn profile, which is, somewhere around here on my desk is still a little Wonder Woman toy. I just like, because that's me,
Yeah, exactly.
so I bought into that narrative.
Mm.
And I pumped my own damn tires up. I didn't need anybody to do that. I was having a fun time doing that all on my own.
Mm.
But what I was ignoring was the fact that my health was declining at a rapid rate I mean, the blood pressure was the tip of the iceberg. I was
That's
so unwell for such a long
crazy.
period of time,
Yeah.
and ignoring it and ignoring it and ignoring it, and my friendships and my relationships, like I didn't invest time in those at all. I literally only focused on work, and I had a fear of not being successful at work because then, I failed at marriage and relationships. I would say I clearly suck at that. Um, you know, my kids are doing okay, but they've got some challenges of their own. So maybe my parenting skills are a bit as well. But hey, I'm awesome at work, so I'll just focus on that because that's how I'll be successful. And I then chose to neglect everything else because I was failing at that, but I could be successful at this. So there was no, what you were saying before about putting weight. People can choose that how they want to weight each of those different things. I didn't do that. Like I
All
literally picked up every rock and I put them all in one damn basket.
Which is understandable because that's where you're getting the wins,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll all do that. It's not even a judgment. Of course, we'll all do the things that are easier for us, we get more attention for, we get more instant reward and gratification,
Yes.
even if it's not long term, even if it's not sustainable, even if it's, you sort of think it through. It's like, oh yeah, that's a problem. We don't, because we live in the
Mm-hmm.
moment, and if we get those choices, that's exactly what we'll do. So it is completely understandable. I love this conversation because you go, yeah, it is so easy to become wired that way. Society gave us that message, and
Yes.
for a previous decade, in my parents, I'm assuming I'm older than you, generation, it was like, yes, that is what you need to do. Your job
Mm-hmm.
is to have enough money and a house so you can give it to your children. Didn't mean that you got
Yes.
anything in your life. It was just work to the grave so that you can give on, which they're incredibly selfless, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes. Very
amazing.
lovely. Mm-hmm.
Seriously don't think I'm that lovely. But anyway, it was like, yes, work really hard. But then that came with consequences, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah.
you never went to your kids' ball games. They end up in
Mm-hmm.
therapy. You
Yes.
have a lot
Yes.
of wealth as assets, but you don't have
Mm-hmm.
wealth in relationships
Mm-hmm.
and other
Yeah.
things. And that's not even like, we can all look back and have an opinion on a different generation, and they'll do the same for us. But I think what is great and what is wonderful you're doing now with Queen of My Own Universe is that you're actually going, you know what, I think we can do this better, because if it happened to me, and I'm an intelligent woman, you're an
Mm-hmm.
intelligent woman. If it
Mm-hmm.
happened to
Yeah.
me, and I didn't even pick up all the cues, and it required me to seriously take selfies while I'm having a mini heart attack, to the second time, to the third time, to go, oh my gosh, let me tell you, as an ex-nurse, 220 or 140, yeah, they're right. That is
Mm-hmm.
seriously scary, right? So you're playing with fire, and it's just, it's not funny. And I think it's really great to actually go, there's a better way. And the most amazing thing is, and I work with really high power people like around the world, and
Mm-hmm.
they,
Yeah.
notice, they go, they're not too busy. They're all taking time out. They're reading,
Yes.
they're investing, they're listening into
Mm-hmm.
podcasts, they're spending time networking, they're speaking at this conference, they're,
Mm-hmm.
meeting us. I'm like going, oh my gosh, like it's like watching an ambulance, man. They don't run. They just kind of walk,
Yes.
control,
Yes.
control, control. And you go, what are we being Miss Wonder Woman for? Just going crazy just to be enough, you know? We
Yes.
are. A great message that you have shared today, and I thank you for it. We're all more than enough. We do need to have these
Mm-hmm.
reality checks. For those of you listening in who just go, oh my gosh, I actually really need to talk to Marg because I think my blood pressure might be doing something quite strange, or something else, go to queenofmyownuniverse.com. You can also put a comment in the chat in wherever you're watching it. Oh, I've just clicked on the chat. Loving how you define success. Absolutely, totally agree. It's a whole new definition, and Marg's got hers. Write yours, everybody. So
love to know what yours is. Yeah,
we would love you to tell us what yours is. I'm going to ask you in Women's Biz Tribe in our Facebook group, so make your way over there. You can also find Marg via there as well. So yeah, just go and write a question there. I'll ask everyone in the tribe to actually start doing it. I think it's so important that we have this conversation. Excuse me, I'm just going to lose my voice a little bit. Just really fascinating to hear more about your story, Marg. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's, now I tell you what, you're a good storyteller as well, though, Marg, because yeah, what else happened? How wild was it?
Oh, there's so much. There's a whole book in there, honey.
There's a whole book coming on Marg's near-death experience, and I can feel it. And while it's really terrible, and we need to avoid that, quite fascinating to read. Anyway,
cool
that's just making me sound a little bit weird. But anyway, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for sharing with us, and major praise to you, and well done you for just taking control of your own life. Love it. Absolutely love it. Beautiful. Everyone else, we will see you back again very soon for our next speaker. Ladies, are you dreaming big enough? I want you to dream big and act bigger. You see, I want to have power. I want to be empowered. Suddenly being empowered is a more positive word, because I want to make sure that I know my own values, my boundaries. I know what I want to achieve in life. Visible and invisible barriers are only a problem if you accept them as such. So a woman with a big dream also needs to have a plan, because without a plan, that dream is just a wish.
I love her confidence, I love her charisma, and her positivity and her brightness and her colour and her lessons about life. As a woman who's been through so much, it was really inspiring and really interesting.
I had 4 kids in 2 years. I wanted to be a businesswoman. I had no money. I had to think, how is this dream going to happen? If you actually start believing if something's important to you, just back yourself. Back yourself despite what other people say. Successful people are not held back by what other people say.
I would recommend that for everybody, because everybody should have a dream and everybody should back themselves. So I think she's awesome.
Even when it feels like everything's not going to work, they go, you know what? I'm going to make sure that this does work. I'm going to be positive despite, because it brings energy, it brings opportunity. And as soon as you actually get half glass empty, your vision will start failing. I encourage you to start making your dreams a reality in business and in life. Thank you.